I need to discuss something. Wow. So, welcome to my science world. Again and again and again. Okay. So, look at my voice. Do you hear my voice? Strange, right? Okay. So, let's go back to the discussion of the chemical formulation. So, kung saan ka mahulog sa mga chemical formulation? Okay. Talaga? Walang katapusan. Okay. This is organic, charot. Wait, organic functional group. Nakakaloka. Okay, so it's gonna be like this. Mas naman to ang kuan, guys. Okay. Tanawa na po din nyo guys char. Sige, mag-start na taha. Okay, charots. So we have organic compounds. I will just put CPDs, right? CPDs, an abbreviation of compounds, right? So, ganun. Okay? CPDs, organic compounds, like that. So, the first common functional group will be the carboxylic acid. This is COOH. It's gonna be C, double bond oxygen, single bond OH. And this one is the attachment. The attachment is where the other elements and compound will be attached. Somewhere here. Okay, like this. Okay? Ganon. Okay. For example, only one example in every functional group, ha? Okay. For example, if we'll say, butyric acid. Right? Butyric acid is an acid found in batter, in mayonnaise, in cheese. So that's the acid found there. Butyric acid, right? Okay. And it's also an acid found when you put the adobo or baboy, something like that. If you put that there, let's say you put in English, the meat inside the glass, and then later on there will be an oil, right? That okay, it will create by their own oil the fats, like that. The acid there also is butyric acid. Okay, so example, butyric acid. Okay, so in this case it's very obvious the word buty. You need to say it is under butyl, butane, butene, and butane. Okay? Di ba ganun siya mga palangga kong hitad? You get the Okay. Now, so it's understood to have 4 carbon atoms. If we remember the hydrocarbons arrangement from, for example, methane, CH4, C2H6, C3H8, so C4H10, C5H12, C6H14, C7H16, C8H18. Say for example, we need to stop here in the N-octane in the gasoline. This is the formula of gasoline. Okay? Gasoline or fuel. 8 atoms of carbon and 18 atoms of hydrogen. So we are now in the butene, and we will troubleshoot that it's in here. Butene or here, so C4. So how many carbon atoms you have? That is 4. Right? Ganon. So 4 carbon atoms. Then you need to attach that here in the outlet of carboxylic acid so that it will become a butyric acid. So you will get that here and put that in this band. It will become CH4, H10, carbon double bond, oxygen, and OH. So this is gonna be, you attach only here. But the problem is this is not the correct orientation. We need to break down the C4H10, the butane. So you will break down that into something. So we have C, this is carbon 4, right? Oh, carbon 4, ganon. Since you have carbon 4 already, you need to adjust because you have still 1 carbon in the carboxylic. So this will now become carbon 3. You analyze well. As long as the total carbon is 4. Okay, because if you add this total butane, see for it, the carbon will become 5. So it's not good anymore. You will have to follow the technical rule in organic chemistry. So you will adjust this to C3. Okay, so C3 plus 1 here, the carboxylic, it will become 4 atoms of carbon. It adjust chuba-chuchu na. Okay, so you break down the C3H10 into something. So, carbon 3. 1, 2, 3. And you add this carboxylic acid. C, double bond, oxygen, OH. And then, put single bond of carbon, 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 single bond, single bond. Why single bond? Because this is not butene. This is butane. You take that for the butane, right? Ganon. So it will become H, H, H. The rest will be H. The H hydrogen atoms will adjust only in the chain of the carbon. Okay, like that. Okay, now you will count na general chemical formula sa butyric. So, in my memorization, that is C4H8O2. Memorization when I was in first year college. Let's check if this is okay now in your orientation. If my memory failed, if my memory is still correct. We need to count on the spot. Okay. Carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Perfect. Hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. Perfect. Oxygen. 1, 2. Perfect. So, my memory did not fail. Why? Because I understand how it is being structured by following the rule. Even though that was 20 years plus ago, I could still remember the formula of butyric acid. Things like that. That's why I told you, do not memorize plainly. Understand the functional group, the structuring, and the rules. Okay. Like, see? This is the formula. 4 atoms of carbon, 8 atoms of hydrogen, 2 atoms of general chemical formula of butyric acid. Structural formula, this one. Okay. Structural formula is basing on the IUPAC system, International Union for Pure Applied Chemistry. Okay, I'm serious now. So we go to another functional group. We are already done with carboxylic acid group. Right? Only one example, because if I give too much examples, this vlog will end midnight or in the next morning. Okay? You get the point. Ganon. Okay. Functional group number 2. We need to go to the special. Special. Wow, na din mga special. Na-adjud siya. Okay, let's say acetyl. Special functional group. Acetyl. Okay. Acetyl group. Oh, acetyl group. What is the functional group of acetyl group? Ganon. Diba? So it's gonna be, okay, CH3, okay, carbon double bond oxygen. And here is the outlet for other to combine also. Take note the outlet. The outlet that has not abundant element still, you have this, the one will be interacted with others, compounds, elements like that. So these are the general formula of acetyl group. CH3, single bond carbon, double bond oxygen, single bond of something unknown. Like this acetyl group. So for example, I will say acetone. Okay. Acetone is a chemical used to remove ink or any stain or whatever that is removed of a dye or a paint or something like that you need to remove that one, because that is the characteristic of removal of something, the particles, ink usually. Okay, if you put a marker and then you will, permanent marker, and you will put an acetone, it will be removed. So if you have a manicure, then you need to change another color, use the acetone, and the acetone will remove the color of your manicure. So that's the purpose of acetone. So let's say acetone is our example. Actually, we have so many examples here. Okay, acetone. So we have also acetaldehyde, right? Acetaldehyde. But we'll just choose acetone. Okay, we have also acetic acid. Okay, acetic acid. Okay, what else involves acetyl? So for example, acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter to develop our brain functions after synthesizing the DNA. Okay, deoxyribonucleic acid. So that is acetylcholine from the raw material lecithin, right? Still remember that one? Okay, yeah. Ganon. So, acetylcholine. Okay. What else that involves acetyl? So many actually, but we need to choose one only. Let's see, we chose acetone. Okay. This acetyl group, guys, this is more on the combination with other functional groups also. I will explain later. Acetyl group, okay. I discussed this because this is very important in the, cellular respiration. The acetyl, CoA, coenzymes, okay, to the production, going to the Krebs cycle, and it will produce energy for all living organisms in the planet Earth. Something like that. So we have here acetyl group, right? Okay. Now, acetone, like that. So, I will choose acetic acid because it's more okay, because this is very basic, right? The vinegar. Acetic acid. So the characteristic of acetic acid, that is the weakest acid in the planet Earth. Weakest acid. Okay, like that. And then this is the least number of atoms. Okay, 2. This is C2H3O2. So let's check this if this is okay. Okay, will we put that here? Something like that, acetyl group. Okay, now. Okay, so acetic acid. Something like that. So this is an acid, you have to put H, right? Okay, you get the point, mga palangga, kung hitan. Okay, now, COH. Let's try OH first, meeting the carboxylic. We'll try first the carboxylic acid because this is organic. And then later we will choose also inorganic. Because guys, in organic compound, the acidity and the acid, something like that, we'll focus on the hydronium ion, H3O, and then the positive H only. For example, H plus chlorine is equals to HCl. Hydrogen plus chlorine is equals to HCl, and balance the chemical reaction. You're only putting H there. But in organic chemistry, we need to have COH as our acid. So let's do first the carboxylic, meeting the organic chemistry first. Okay, let's check. So, we know that this COH already in your brain cells, then you need to create like this in your structural formula. So you need to add OH already. Here, OH. So is this okay if you add directly the OH as carboxylic acid in terms of organic, not the inorganic? Let's check. Meeting this formula C2H3O2 as the general formula of vinegar or acetic acid. Now, carbon, count. 1, 2. Hydrogen, 1, 2, 3. Hydrogen here, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not, right? 4 on hydrogen, oxygen is 2. So the hydrogen will be wrong. So we cannot force the carboxylic acid to be attached here. So what if using only the acid in organic chemistry, which is only adding H? It is possible. So let's change the OH to H. Meeting the Arrhenius theory. Arrhenius theory of acidity and basicity is yielding OH ion or yielding H positive in aqueous solution. Okay, so let's say adding H only for this acetyl group. Would it qualify to our formula vinegar C2H2O2? To count again. Carbon, 1, 2, 1, 2, perfect. Hydrogen, okay, hydrogen, dili lang gyapon, 1 or dili gyapon siya pwede. Oxygen, so nawala ang oxygen, dili pwede siya. So saan mo na ng higayuna for that situation? That dili siya mo-met anang duha ka rule. Diba? Unsaon man nimo ana nga di siya ma-met ana nga rule. Okay? Unsaon nimo ana? Okay? Okay, imo man ipahimong acetic acid, C2H3O2. Okay, na gusto man kamo acetyl mo pasok sa banga. Unsaon man nimo ana aron? Hala. Okay? Unsaon na nimo ana aron mga palangga kung hitan. Okay, so in order to make this acetic acid, you will follow the rule of polarity and non-polarity. You get the point? So if that not holds true, Lewis, Bronsted-Lowry, and Arrhenius theory, then find another rule that is really applicable because it deviates the normal rule. You get the point? It will not be pasok sa banga. Okay? So we have acetic acid, and this is acid already. So how about doing like this? CH3CO. Okay. Is this correct? Carbon 2. Carbon 2. H3 correct. And we have still another oxygen which is 2. So this is gonna be O2. Okay. Ganon. 3HCO. CH3CO2, another O here, right? Another O. Now, if you put the another O, so you will remember now the valence electrons of oxygen. How much? That is in group 6, right? So 6. This is now following the Lewis dot structures, not the Arrhenius. Things like this, guys, if not meeting the Arrhenius theory, not meeting the Bronsted-Lowry more on positive protons transfer. And then electron transfer is more on the Lewis dot structure. The yielding of H positive and hydronium ion is on Arrhenius theory. These 3 laws in chemistry are focusing on the laws of acidity and basicity during chemical reactions, how it is being transferred, how it is being yielded, something like that, okay? Then, ganon. So, ako ipasok sa baga ang Lewis dot structures here. So, valence electrons of oxygen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, nakakay excess electrons na 5 here. Okay. So, in this case, mga palangga akong hitan, okay, you need to restructure duhaman ka carbon. H, diba? So you put the oxygen here. 1, 2, 3. So like that. So it's not possible, then put H. Ano na siya, guys? Kaya ang bonding sa carbon 4, you'll not be able to put oxygen because it will more than 4. The band, ganun ba? Ganun siya. Okay, so siya sa rule. Okay? So it's gonna be like that. So C, oxygen 2. Oh, oxygen 0. 1, 2, 3, and you have to add oxygen here. Ganun siya. Diba? Nakakaloka. Okay, ganun siya. So, complete na mo ang carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds. Here, carbon 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds. Now, nakaka-really focus sa oxygen because oxygen is not really, what do you call this one? Not completely shared. Okay, so if that is not completely shared, this is covalent, polar covalent bond. So polar. So here also have excess 1, 2, 1, 2 because 6 electrons, valence electrons of oxygen, and then also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But during putting that in the general formula, you will never put the dot. During only in the structuring, that's the rule. In putting the general chemical formula, you will put the dots there. Only that CH3CO2. Let's check again the normal, the original formula of acetic acid. C2H2O2. Papasok pa siya sa banga. Carbon, 1, 2. 1, 2. Hydrogen, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oxygen, 1, 2. Perfect! So CH3CO2 is your formula here. So your structural formula will be like this. So CH3COO with excess electrons. Meaning to say, this is highly polar. So meaning to say, mga palangga akong hitan, acetic acid is conductive to electricity. Again, if you put your vinegar near to the electricity, it can create conductivity. Because this is highly polar, the same as water. There is an excess of electrons not shared. So, the more it has an electrons not shared in the theory of Lewis dot structures or Lewis acidity and basicity, the more the substance is polar that will be subjected to create conductivity and electricity. That is polarity. Okay, if there are excess of electrons left in your formulation and restructuring. So, kung nakay suka, ay ipaduol sa imong kuan, mga outlet, because it will create fire. Because of the chemical reaction, it shows in our acetic acid that it is a polar compound, the same as water. Like water, say water, H2O, oxygen, hydrogen, like this, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an excess of electrons of 4. So water is highly polar. It will also conduct electricity, the same as acetic acid. That will also conduct electricity. But it depends on how much electricity they will be able to conduct. Okay, it depends on the situations. Okay, if you do an experiment, let's check. We will connect the vinegar to the outlet. Splash it with vinegar. If there's a spark, then bingo. Acetic acid is conductive to electricity. But nobody will try to do that because it's for the purpose of, for the purpose of experimentation and actual demonstration, you can, but it will damage also your outlet. Okay? For the purpose of that, very self-explanatory in theory. So you don't have to prove because that's self-explanatory. As long as it's polar, then it will create conductivity. No need to fight back with Mr. Lewis, the scientist who discovered this. Okay? And it's not also practical to do your experimentation regarding that acetic acid and the outlet live just to prove that it will conduct electricity. Okay? You got the point? So, parang ganun eh. It's not practical. Okay? How much that the plant cost? And then you will only just to prove, and then it's already written in the books. No need. Something like that. You got the point? So, it's gonna be like that. So, acetic acid is also highly polar, same as water. So, any compound that have an excess electrons unshared during the structuring, that will become polar. Okay? Like that. You got the point? Ganon. Anak siya, guys. Okay. But it doesn't mean nga, it is tantamount to flammability. We're only talking to the electricity, how it conduct. You get the point? Ganun siya mga palangga. Okay, because hydrocarbons are known to be polar. Okay, polar covalent band. So, the more it is polar, guys, the more it is subject to flammability. But flammability and electricity is not the same. Okay, flammability will create fire, and conductivity will create electricity. So different scope. It happens only that some substances will create both fire and electricity or electric shock. So there's things like that. But what I'm trying to emphasize, it doesn't mean once it is flammable, it's already conductive to electricity. Okay, so maybe that is highly flammable, it will create fire. It doesn't mean also that that is going to conduct electricity. It's just only flammability. Okay? But there are also cases that it has also flammability, it is also to conduct electricity. It depends now on the kind of substances in which you investigate. Okay. The important is you know the technical theory and concepts, when to say it. Okay. Do not memorize. Okay. You got the point. Ganon. Okay. So any question for the acetyl group? And now we go to alkyl. Alkyl group. This is everybody's favorite, right? If you're working in oil and gas, then you must master the alkyl group. Okay. So this is alkyl group. Okay. From the word itself, from alkane, hydrocarbon. Okay. So alkyl group. So, inorganic chemistry mga palangga, kulitan. Okay. Alkyl represented as R. Okay, and another R also somewhere along the way in orientation, it will be R apostrophe, something like that. But the R really is basic alkane. Okay, pato akong gilista from methane to dodecane, like babaso and so. Okay, you got the point. Ana siya. Okay, any questions so far mga palangga kung hitad? Nothing, right? So alkyl group, show na ko ni mong alkyl group ha. Okay. So, ano yun ang alkyl group ay? Okay. For example, I have, let's check, nitrosamine, a carcinogenic substance. So, I have here the functional group of nitrosamine like this. Actually, guys, this alkyl will be attachable to anybody else. We can take another functional group and attach to it. Mupasok na siya sa banga. Okay, you got the point? For example, nitrosamine. Okay, nitrosamine. O, diba? The general formula of nitrosamine, we have R, like this. Okay, then R, like this. And we have the nitrogen, double bond oxygen, like that. Okay, and double bond oxygen. R here will represent the alkyl. So you need to change this with CH3. Also here, CH3. Or until C10H20. You can put that in the R. But you can never put that in somewhere here at the bottom of the functional group of nitrosamine. So that is alkyl, what we mean. Okay, here. So very easy alkyl. Okay, it can attach to anybody else. And another functional group. Okay. Now, di na tayo sa banga. Ato na sa nitrosamine because we show already the nitrosamine, right? Nitrosamine functional group. So this one. So it's gonna be nitrosamine. Okay. Ano na nitrosamine? Oh, R. Okay, R. Single bond nitrogen. R. Nitrogen, double bond oxygen. Take note mga palangga kung hitad. In nitrosamine, there's no carbon atoms. Take note. In nitrosamine, there's no carbon atom. It's only the alkyl R, the nitrogen, and the oxygen. There's no hydrogen. Take note also. This is amazing. This is unique and rare. Why? Aside from being a carcinogenic substance that can cause cancer, you can easily remember that there's no hydrogen and there's no carbon atoms. Since there's no carbon atoms, there's no hydrogen, it easily penetrate to our system. Okay, because it's easy to react. There are two only, nitrogen and oxygen ng siya. Okay, then the carbon atoms will be coming from another compound to react. That's why I told you, the alkyl, the CH3, blah, blah, blah. But originally, there's no carbon atoms in the functional group of nitrosamine. Okay. Then later, the carbon atom will be added. Later in the R. Okay, that's nitrosamine. Number 5, mga palangga kong itad. Okay. Number 5, ang atong favorite, amino. Okay, amino. So sabi ng mga amino, mga amino acids, ang portidagana, makakaloka. Diba? Masaon maninimuro ng amino. So ang amino here, guys, we are referring to amino group, not yet an acid. Because that's also another functional group. Okay? Carboxylic acid in combination of amine. Amino acid siya. Okay? But here, this is only amino or NH2. Ano na siya? NH2, as simple as this, and there's one single bond here to connect to other compounds. So this one, NH2, then amino, like that. So if we eat meat, dili alatul, there's already amine, and it will react to other because there's a single, outlet to react for other substances. Look at the group. See here, you will react here. Okay, ganon. That's amino group. Okay, really easy, right? Amino group. Okay, you need to think it over and over again. Okay. Now, number 6, carbonyl. Carbonyl, you guys Sotero? Yes, there's a carbonyl group. What do you mean by carbonyl group? This is involving carbon and hydrogen. This is simply CH. Carbonyl. But the H here doesn't specify that. It depends on the reaction of the carbon, that's carbonyl. Because the alkyl already specified that it is H3 pataas. But in the carbon, we don't know yet the hydrogen, we don't know the carbon, but it's basically the same. The carbonyl and the alkyl. The only difference, we don't know yet what are the number of atoms to be attracted. But in the alkyl, you already know that it will be attracted to at least a minimum of hydrogen 3, which is the methane. Okay? Pataas. Okay. So, carbonyl doesn't focus more on the H as long as there's a carbon. Okay? And yung focus of concentration is the carbon. That's why carbonyl. Okay? Carbonyl group. Ganon. So you have a process of carbonation. Meaning adding of too much carbon in a single chemical reaction. That is carbonation. It's applicable also in the, coal plant industry. Okay, you get the point in production of anthracite, coal, lignite. These are allotropes of carbon atoms, right? And the more purest carbon, which is a diamond, the precious stone, that is the purest carbon created by the carbon isotopes. Okay, like that. So, and we have also the graphite. Okay, graphite, anthracite, lignite, and diamond. Okay, these are the allotropes of carbon. So, it will turn also as a bitumen coming from a graphite. Okay, then used in the asphalt paving. So, that is also part of carbon atoms. That's very black. The color and appearance of carbon is black. That's why you found that in the road, in asphalting. And that is mainly bitumen coming from the graphite. Okay? Alam ang diamond. Diamond is a precious stone. Butang lang mo sa kasada. The point, things like this, common sense will work also. Diamond is a precious stone. Okay? It will become a stone, but mainly composed of carbon atoms. The purest carbon atoms in the Earth's crust. Ganon. Okay, that's carbonyl group. Okay. So what else mga palangga kong hitad? Okay. Ano na siya, no? Oh. Nanakay 6. Number 7, we go now to the familiar. Okay. We have the Okay, we have the aldehyde. Aldehyde. So that's why we have formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a substance used in embalming to remove the bad odor of the died person. Embalming. So when somebody died, there's a mag-ibalsama, right? They use the formaldehyde to remove the bad odor of the died person. Okay? Dead person. So that is formaldehyde. Not only formaldehyde for the died person, but also for surgical operation of the frab. Like that. We have to put formaldehyde so that the smell will become not bad in our nose. Because it has a pungent bad odor, unpleasant odor. Something like that. And formaldehyde can stop that. Okay? And then you'll put formaldehyde so that it's easy for you to operate, blah, 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 so and so. Okay? That's why we have formalin. Okay? So it's just the same thing, but the functional group are not the same. Okay? Formalin can either be, it is a protein, can either be a hormone, sometimes can either be, but not an enzyme, sorry. Hormone and protein only, or an antibodies. It depends on the situation, but since you will know that through the application, the application suggests that it's not a protein. Right? You got the point. So it's more on the antiseptic or disinfectant, something like that. Am I correct? All right. For the wounds, then the smell will be removed, something like that. So it's formaldehyde or formalin. Okay, you good. So aldehyde. So di na talalayo. Our aldehyde formula is R, C, double bond oxygen, and there's one H here. Okay. We need to adjust in the R. Take note, in every functional group in organic, you will always focus on the R because that's the thing. You will change the any elements and compounds. Do not never touch the other, okay, standard formula. Okay? So we will say, let's go to formaldehyde na lang. Pero lalayo. So formaldehyde. So formaldehyde, so it looks like not common in the alkane group. Okay? There's no formaldehyde. But formaldehyde is the same as starting with methane. Okay, one carbon atom, like that. Okay, because acetal, two carbon atoms. If we have our example acetaldehyde also. Okay, but here our example is formaldehyde. So we need to change the R here, diba, into H only. Because one carbon atom. Because if you add CH, then there will be two atoms of carbon. So it will become acetaldehyde already. So just put H in the R. Ganon. So the R would mean not focusing always the CH. You can also add H there. It depends on the situation. Okay, but the regular and the standard, you have to add alkyl CH na siya. But in this case, since formaldehyde, so H lang siya. So, ano din siya papasok sa balat. Okay, got the point? So, count. Oxygen 1, hydrogen 2, and carbon 1. Hello? Take note, makabuang guys, no? So, you know, C, only 1, hydrogen 1, 2, and oxygen 2. So, also formaldehyde is polar, meaning it conducts electricity and conductivity because there's an excess electrons in the oxygen here, not completely shared. Okay? So, you'll see, CH2 is the formula of formaldehyde. So, this is now I see you because I don't memorize the formula on the spot. Okay, formaldehyde. Okay? I cannot memorize also everything just now because this is aldehyde already. I am focusing on acids, bases, and protein like that, but I don't focus more on the aldehyde. Now, on the spot, this is the formula of formaldehyde based on our understanding of the function group. Okay, the formula of aldehyde pala is CH2O. But take note mga palangga kung ito. Let's count it again. Hydrogen, 1, 2. Oxygen, 1. Oxygen. Hydrogen, 2, carbon 1. CH2 is the formaldehyde. But take note mga palangga, that is formaldehyde, right? That's under aldehyde. But take note also, CH2O is the empirical formula of sugar, carbohydrates. So there's also mismatch by following the rules and theory. So in this way, you need to focus not to the application because they have the same formula. Okay, again, CH2O is the empirical formula of carbohydrates. Empirical, meaning to say the basis of all the formulation is the empirical because contains the least number of subscript and atoms that you will put that there as our bases. Okay. Take note, it happens that the formaldehyde and the empirical formula of carbohydrates is just the same. Now, during your writing your report or your statements or your talk, it depends now on the application. So basically, these are now isomers. By on the spot, just now, I'll tell you, because I don't prepare what to discuss, okay, we can say formaldehyde and the empirical formula of sugar are isomers with each other because they have the same formula, CH2O. Nagkaroon na ako discovered on the spot, okay, by having this topic. Okay, so CH2O, the empirical formula of carbohydrates, which is the main sugar, plain sugar, is also the formaldehyde, but different in their application. Now, I'll just prove this CH2O, why this is the empirical formula of sugar. Let's say, for example, we have the glucose, the blood sugar in our bloodstream. Or let us say fructose in the fruits. Or let us say sucrose, the refined white sugar that we always put in our coffee. Okay, I show you the formula for the sucrose, the sugar that we always put in our coffee. Let's prove that by using this empirical formula. Let's prove that if it is really correct. Maybe I'm just only fabricating an empirical formula that doesn't meet the principles and theories in chemistry. Let's confirm. Right? Ganon. So where's my eraser? Mga palang ako. Sige lang, pupuput na rin akong mango. Ganun ko mango. Charot! Okay, nakakaloka. Diba? Okay, ganon. So, akong papason ha. Okay, let's say sucrose. Refined white sugar or sugar cane coming from the tubo. Tubo is cane. That's why we are sugar cane. Sugar from cane. Right? Cane is a fruit. The lengthy, like a straight line. What do you call this one? Nasayo lang ko eh. Kanang kuan ba tubo ang tawag ka. Bawang siguro naman tubo. Okay, that is cane. The sugar we obtain from it, that is sugar cane. Okay, you get the point. So sugar cane is a refined white sugar because that is the raw material in obtaining that kind of sugar. Okay, you get the point. Then we have sucrose. Sucrose. What's the formula of sucrose? Based on my memorization, this is carbon 12 H22O11. Right? What do you notice with the sucrose? Sugar. Why it is the deadly one, the sucrose that we put in the cake, in the, put in the cake, we put that in the ice cream, we put that in the chocolates, or name it, halo-halo, or whatever, as long as it is very, very sweet, or the milk tea. Why this is the most dangerous? Take note, 12, times 2 the glucose. The glucose having only 6, then times 2. Okay, and then the center of glucose, I will put the glucose, C6H12O6. Okay, now 6 times 2 ang carbon. Okay, 6, then there's still excess of 5. Okay, 12, and nahimo siyang 22. Something like that. So if this is 6 times 2, this is now di. Okay, di. So, how can we agree this is a di? So we need to say, this is disaccharide. Because when we deal with the study of sugar, we are technically following the rule that this is a saccharide family. Okay, so saccharide family is the same as carbohydrates family. Okay, and the examples for that are sugars in different forms. Okay, and there's a lot of sugars. Okay, so later we will introduce one by one the name. But we will focus on the most common and, very popular because we are not taking science every time. For the general public purpose only. For the science professional courses, they don't have to worry because, they know also, especially the chemists, the chemical engineers, the pharmacists, the technologists, the physical therapist, the OT, the radiologist, anything related to science, the medical doctor, because they are also full of chemistry in their study of substances, right? The same as the chemical engineers and the chemists also. The biochemists, name it. Okay, as long as attached with science courses, science-linked courses. Okay, now, di. So, the family is saccharide. Disaccharide. Okay, meaning to say, sucrose is a disaccharide, sugar. Because you times 2 the carbon atom. Now, let's choose the empirical formula. This is our purpose. How can it be applied? Okay. So for example, your carbon atoms is 6. Okay. For glucose, put 6 here, C6. And then for the hydrogen, 2N, the 2 times 6. And then for oxygen, that is only 6. It will become C6H12O6 for glucose. Just follow the empirical H2O. So we need to say CH2O is the correct empirical formula of carbohydrates family, saccharide family, and the sugars group. Okay? Now, when we, Sotero, why can we obtain C2H22? What is happening? Okay. Now, because this is a disaccharide, we need to add another monosaccharide. Okay. Because if we have the disaccharide, we have also the mono. The monosaccharide represented by the popular glucose. Okay? Popular for the monosaccharide. And it will become a disaccharide. That is already the sucrose. Okay? It now become the galactose. Like that, the maltose. So, mauna na siya matabok. Daghan na kayo, mga ribose, cellulobiose. Okay, you got the point. Ribose, ribulose. So these are sugar. And the chitin. Chitin is also the sugar found in the caterpillar and the insects at their backbone. Their backbone is made of chitin. You got the point? That's also a very complex sugar found in the backbone of different insects. That's made of sugar, but that is not sweet. Right? But chitin is a sugar. Not only that, then if we make a thread, T-H-R-E-A-D, you know thread using in the textile industry for, textile. You know the textile thread. Ibutan mo sa dagom. Okay, like that. And then, if you try to operate a person, for example, surgical operation. Okay. Now, these doctors will not use the ordinary nylon or like that. They will use the thread with chitin characteristic. Chitin raw material for that kind of thread. Because the chitin will decompose after how many months when you operate the person. Okay, that's why it will be removed after operation because the raw material of that kind of thread is chitin. It is highly decomposable after how many months. Mawala na to ang chitin, mapabilin ang scar, S-C-A-R. But the scar also will a little bit removed through the application of different kinds of medicines. Okay, but later on. But magpabilin dyan na siya nga uwat. Klaro kay ang tinahian. For example, okay, but the chitin material thread, mawala siya, it will be decomposed. So that is still also sugar, but different in application. Okay, so there's a lot, guys. So cellulobiose, ganon, glycogen, the amylose for the sugar in the leaves. Okay, in the pigment of the green leaves, in the stomata, there's also sugar there, amylose, pectin. That is for starch. Starch also sugar. Okay, bonded with so many amylose. Okay, amylose raw materials will become the starch that we use in our food. Starchy foods, right? Ganon. So starch coming from the leaves. Okay, in the amylose part. That is also a sugar. Okay, that would mean that the sugar is only not sweet. There are more sugars that are not sweet compared to the sweet. But it's just happened that sugar sweet is more popular that we see it every day in our intake. Ice cream, halo-halo, or whatever. That's why we will feel that sugar is always sweet all the time. But actually, to be honest with you, there are more sugars that are not sweet compared to sweet. Okay? Like that. Get the point? Sama na mga maltose, sweet dahil na. That is a sugar found in the beer. Okay? Maltose, the lactose. Okay? Di na siya tamis. Okay, you get the point. So, but that is still a sugar. So sweetness and taste are not the basis how to say it is a sugar or not. Okay, it's the formulation in the structural formula. Now, sucrose, how can we apply to the empirical formula CH2O? So, disaccharide. So, glucose, C6H12 monosaccharide, right? Plus another monosaccharide, C6H12 glucose. Okay, ganon. So, you will use carbon 12, H24, and O12. Okay, supposedly. Then, sir, why the hydrogen is more than for that? More than. So, what happened to the hydrogen and oxygen here? If you add this 2, it will become C12H24O12, not the C12H22O11. Where is the other oxygen here, sir? Wala rin ka. Okay? Now, it will become water, H2O. So the two atoms from 24, it will become 22, and the oxygen will become 11 because the oxygen will bind as H2O as the final product. You got the point? So narinig water siya, kaabi mo sa monosaccharides. This is a type of water that is not liquid in a form of vapor state. That is not really liquid when you see. That is a vapor state. But still that is water, right? Water exists in you can smell but you cannot see. Okay? Buhay kita mo sa sugar. Ito mo kami sugar guys. Good? Okay, you got the point. Di ba yung is all of all sugar. Okay, so glucose plus glucose is equals to disaccharide. Or glucose plus glucose is equals to sucrose. Because sucrose is a disaccharide. Right? So I will show you the formula. C6H12O6 plus C6H12O6 is equal to carbon 12H24O12 supposedly. But this is not existent in nature because we don't have C12H24O12 as a sugar in nature. So we will split this into, okay, carbon 12, H22O11, which is the formula of sugar. Okay, the sucrose that we put in our milk. Like that. So, plus water. If you try to add, if you balance the chemical reaction, you put the two atoms in the oxygen, it will become also H24. If you add the one oxygen atom in the water to this oxygen 11, it will become also H12. The purpose only is to split that to meet the concept of chemical reaction. Because C12H24 O12, in this case, 6 plus 6, is not existent in nature. Meaning hypothetical. To make it realistic, okay, that it will appear that we can see in our eyes, we can use that in actual, we need to adjust the products. So our product now will become sucrose plus water in terms of a vapor state, not the liquid. Okay, maglibo mo, ano H2O, no? This H2O is G, gas or vapor. It will evaporate into the atmosphere, and what will left is the sucrose. C12H22O11, which is the formula of the sugar we put in our milk, in the halo-halo, in the ice cream. So the formula is C12H22O11, two glucoses banded together. Okay, ganon. Pamasagtan natin. So we follow lagyan mo siya sa HCH2O. Right? You get the point? And siya. So, taas na kayo na. So, aldehyde. Muna itong aldehyde, balik na sa number 8. Kasi kung experience sa sugar, nakakalukan, kabuang. Okay, you get the point? Mubalik ko sa aldehyde, manakita kung aldehyde, no? Ay na po sa ketone. Okay. Guys, ketone also, guys, you know, it's very special. You know, because it has a very, too much application in perfume industry, in cosmetology industry, like that. Also in the metabolism. So, Sotero metabolism, apil pa, Jude? Yes. Okay, because, you know, ketone, if we can produce dihydroxyacetone, okay, that will become a sugar, even though that is an acetone in chemical formula. You get the point? So there are chemicals like that you see them as that, but it will act in another way. Okay, because this is ketone, and how can it will act as a sugar? That's another family, right? But there are things like that in organic chemistry. So that is now the example for that are the ketosis sugars. It's the process of burning sugars, which is mainly a ketone group type of sugar, dihydroxyacetone. Okay. These dihydroxyacetone or ketosis sugars are found inside our stomach. This is the accumulated natural sugar in excess that we are not burning every day. It will just be used if we do the jogging like that. Or if our glucoses will be burned all, this will be touched already. But if you never touch this, if you will never burn your glucoses first. Meaning to say, this is the last to be burned. the ketosis sugar. If you burn this last sugar, the ketosis, then this will aid weight loss. Because this is the last, the last sugar to be born in your system. That's why it's not it's not also applicable to keep on adding glucose in your system, because you have now already the standard sugars that untouch the ketosis sugars. It will be used in the burning, okay, in the metabolism purpose. Okay, that's why you need to do the exercise in order this to be released into your system. Because if you add more glucose, then your stomach will become big, because you are not burning the ketosis sugars which are existed in your stomach already. Okay, so that's ketosis sugar, that is process of burning the natural sugars, the dihydroxy acid. Imagine, dihydroxyacetone is a sugar. Why come? There's an acetone word there. Only meeting for the functional group, but the application will become a sugar. Something like that. Just like a uronic acid, right? The uronic acid is an acid, but it will act also as a sugar sometimes. So there are chemicals like that, siya makalibog. Bantayanan kayo siya sa mga chemists, chemical engineers, or whatever that deals with substances. The dietitian, the nutritionist, like pharmacist, medical technologist, okay? Because we are loaded with a lot of chemistry or substances. Not too much of chemical engineers. The chemical engineers focusing more on the, the design, the technology. But it depends on the type of chemical engineers. But for me, I'm interested for this. That's why I go beyond that to others. The biochemistry, the biology, like that, and the other parts of health science and the medical science. Because I'm interesting. Because there's also chemical engineers that are not interested to step in beyond the process chemistry. Chemical engineering are more on the process chemistry, not on the inside of the body. You get the point? But the theory is just the same. But it's totally different if if your concentration is on inside in your body. That's another thing. Okay? That's why I need to reach more. Okay? Extend more my knowledge apart from the process chemistry. I need to dig in the biological aspects of chemistry. The biochemistry, because biochemistry and biological part are related to health science. Then I can protect myself from diseases. Okay? Then I can prevent what disease comes to me when I grow older. Then I can also treat myself by myself without the others, people who will help me. Because I know already what to prevent. Okay? And what to cure and what to adjust for the intake of the selection of the food. Ganon. So we should be not dependent to others to say to us what to do. We should research by ourselves. Because we are the only person who can save our life, is ourselves, not others. They don't care for you, 100%. They may advise, but they are not concerned everything what's in you. So you will save your life by you. So you need to study about health so that you can protect your life from diseases. Okay, you get the point? Anak siya. That is if you are really smart enough to save your life for life sustainability. Ganon. If you want to extend your life in the planet Earth to enjoy your family, your friends, then take care of your life, your health. Health is wealth. Ganon. Okay, so ketosis sugars, right? Dihydroxyacetone is a sugar. Now, ketone. Let's forget about that. Okay, ketone. Ang formula sa ketone, mga palangga, kumitan, very close to aldehydes. R, single bond to carbon, double bond oxygen, ganun. And another R. The R, alkyl is from side to side. That is ketone family. So if you have acetone, methone, okay, under siya ani. Okay? Ethanone, under ani siya. Okay? Ethanone, under na po siya ani. O-N-E man siya, basta ketone guys. O-N-E. Mag-end gani o O-N-E ang compound under siya sa ketone family. Okay? So there's a lot like that. Propanone. That is ketone family. Okay? As long as it will end in O-N-E. Okay? There's a lot when you read the books, but is that also our concentration, diba? But sometimes it will be like that. Okay? If there's an O-N-E, that's a ketone family already. So this is the structural formula. So if you take the acetone, see, acetone meaning acetaldehyde, then there's 2 carbon only. Right? 2 carbon only. So how can you do that? Okay? So simply, you will add H here. The other side, only H. And the other side, since this is 2 carbon, you put 2. Right? like that. And then adjust the hydrogen. The hydrogen is easy to adjust, ha? Okay, like that. So 4 bonds of carbon. 1, 2, 3. So it will become CH3, single bond carbon, double bond oxygen, and single bond hydrogen. So this is your formula of acetone. Okay, because there's no formatone and there's no methone. Okay, only acetone for the 2 carbon atoms. If you start with carbon atom 1, wala mo kay formatone. Wasay acid na acetone but wala siya kuan ba ethone. Ganon. Ano yung tibanan? Basta tibanan gid mo siya OH yung katapusan guys ha. Oh, tiban family na yun na siya. Paluha lang yung functional group. Ganon. So number 9. Basta pa mang functional group sa number 9. So we have dagan kayo siya guys do. Nakakaloka. So number 9, what else? Ester. Ester is equivalent to the salt in organic chemistry. So ester usually undergo the process of esterification reaction in which your salt esters will be hydrolyzed to produce an organic acid. Okay, and then it will be transferred also to alcohol. Okay, later on. You get the point? So magsunod-sunod yung chemical reaction. So esters. So esters, the formula, functional group is like this. R, ganun. Okay, carbon, oxygen, then there's an oxygen here, and bonded with R, apostrophe. So this is the esters. Oh. The esters example ka. For example, sodium benzoate. Oh, that is ester. Okay, ganon. Mga salt siya organic in effect or organic compound. Oh, there's a lot. That's why I cannot mention everything really, guys. Basta mo check ETE. Okay. Ana siya ha. Ano nagawin ng ETE na siya? I-follow na yun siya, guys. Ang kanyang R is alkyl man. So CH group. And R also can be also and CH group also. Yung oxygen yun pasok sa banga. Na nakailangan duha ka oxygen o daog na dayon. Ana. Okay? So, kung nakasabot ka, mo naman ipon-kuhan ito, butang-butang. Adjust na ito. Ano na siya? In fairness. Okay? O let's say, example lang kita mo para dito mo mag-uol. Okay, let's say, benzene. Benzene. Benzene is also a suspected carcinogenic substance. Be careful for this, ha? Benzene. Okay, so benzoate. So this is the salt of benzene. Benzoic acid. This is the acid from benzene. So benzoate, focus ta ani. Kaya muna na siya ang esters. Okay. So benzene, how many carbon atoms? Diba? 6. So punta sa 6 ka carbon atoms here. So mag-adjust na yun ka. Oh. Carbon. 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, nabita ni mo ang benzene nga 6, ang hydrogen, mag-adjust, sa'yo na lang kain na siya. Kopyaw din mo yung functional group. Oh, double bond oxygen, and then it's gonna be your CH here, the R here, ganon. Okay? So, ana gayon. So, benzoate man siya. Okay? So, klaro kayo makompute din yung hydrogen. Okay, ana. So, ana ulit mo. Tadadat. H na dayon. Tadadat. H dayon. Tadadat. H dayon. Tadadat. H dayon. H. Tadadat. O, ganon dayon. Oxygen. O, muna mo oxygen dara-ara. O. So, di bond ba na siya kung naka-anchored upat ka buok electrons niya, diri, hydrogen sa siya. Oh. Ganon. So, muna na siya mong esters. CH3, CO, OCH2, CH2, CH3. A little bit of complicated because they have 2 oxygen here in the functional group. Okay, muna na, magsilisod na nito. May ganaan kayo ng oxygen. You can tap mo siya ang ester. Okay. So, your question will be, I am really correct, Sir Sotero, that is correct? Yes, because the rule you have to put hydrogen talaga siya. So that to make the Lewis structure theory. Now, ang oxygen, di ba na kung sagutan ka ng HK, di ba na nature niya mag-act ng hydrogen per me. Unless that is an hydroxyl already, OH. Na natural siya nga OH. Di man pwede mo butangan na nag-H that so, di na pwede sa rule. Okay, the rule says, if it is an OH originally, okay, ay na siya bilanti ang oxygen, ay na butangin H ang oxygen diha. Okay, you got the point? Sa daira siya, meron kang unpaired electron. So we can say also that your benzoate as a salt will conduct electricity. In which true also in the theory because electrons will ionize to water to become conductive, right? So, mga strong electrolytes, okay, and weak electrolytes. So benzoate is an electrolyte. We just don't know if it is weak or strong. It depends on our test in the laboratory to say if it is a weak electrolyte or strong electrolyte. As long as we know that it is an electrolyte, because this is an ester, a salt, and due to the chemical formula, there's also an excess electrons in the oxygen. So that is polar. The same with water. Excess of electrons. There's an excess electrons in oxygen. Polar na siya. So ipagduha-duha. Ganon. Because it is not completely shared, the electrons of oxygen. Okay, so that is polar covalent band. Polar covalent compounds will always conduct electricity and conductivity. It depends how weak is that or strong, as long as it conducts. You get the point? Because there's also a less conductivity. Only it doesn't matter as long as it conducts electricity. That is polar already by technical definition. Okay? Ingre-ingno nga dili na siya polar kay gamay ra yung conduct. So it's not like that. So we are not following the theory already. You get the point? So kasi gamay lang yung conduct, pwede na, daog na pasok sa baga. Conductive na yun na siya. Slight conductivity lang. But it is polar already, ha? Ganon. Ikaw na tayo bipolar, ani. Okay? Ang bipolar, applicable naman na dito sa mga condition o bipolar attitude. Ganon. You got the point, ha? Bipolar disease. Okay? Ganon. But really, dito mo apply ng bipolar. Polar rin ng polar. Okay? Ganon. Ano siya ang ester? How about the ether? Katong i-apply sa mga cosmetology, mga perfume, the chemicals there are functional with ether group. Okay? Ether. E-T-H-E-R. Dili katong Ethernet ha, dili siya mao. Ether, raw materials sa mga pahumot. Something like so. Ether. E-T-H-E-R. Muna na siya katong R, single band oxygen, single band R. Excess gapon electrons. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 excess electrons. So, ether are all conductive to electricity. Ha? Be careful. So, ayaw ibutang ang perfume sa mga kuan, sa mga outlet, kay mo create na siya electricity. Perfume. Mga pahumot. Ipalayo siya sa mga, because as the chemical formula suggests, it is polar. The functional group of ether. And most of the, deodorants, cosmetology, perfumes have ether raw materials. Since ether by theory is conductive to electricity, you don't have to put your roll-on near the outlet. Maybe it will conduct electricity. Though it has a cover, but we need to have extra safety based on the theoretical concepts of chemistry. You got the point? So we will not depend on that only. We need to put a little bit far from the outlets in our room, like that, because due to the fact it is conductive also. So based on the theory, okay, of the organic chemistry functional group. So ano pala si Sotero? No? Yes, as long as this is high polar, there's an excess oxygen automatic ta. That's why human being creates also electrical signal in our neurons, right? Because the polar oxygen always have an excess electrons there. And the water, in fact, excess electrons will be there, so polar na daan. So of course, we have electrical signal inside our body to push the neurons to activate, okay, to give us energy after receiving the chemical messengers hormone, the neurotransmitters. Okay, so basically our body have only two processes, the chemical processes and the electric processes, no other. Why? Because there's no machine inside our body. How can we say there's a mechanical processes here, there, right? Nothing. And you will not introduce light inside our body. Okay, there's no light there. There's no light energy, right? You got the point. Ana gyud siya. So only chemical processes and electrical processes. Chemical processes are the chemical messenger hormone that send message to the brain cells, nerve cells, and the neurons, and then it will pass the information by activating the electrical impulses in the neurons, in the actions, like that, in the length of path of the actions, and after it reaches to the synapses part of our neurons, then it will create now the electrical signal, and it will be activated our motor skills, the way we move, the way we act, like that, and also our sensory, The way we think, the way we sense odor, the way we see light in our eyes, the way we hear, and the speech in our language. So that is our sensory neurons. So ma-activate siya because of chemical messengers hormone, because we have electricity, because we drink water dili-dili alatul. And water is highly polar na talaga siya. Okay, you get the point? That's why we have electricity, because of water. And not only that, because of substances also that are polar there. For example, like this inside our body. It depends na when you structure. For example, when you structure protein, last year Sotero, there's an excess electrons lagi ang protein, that's automatically polar. That will also contribute also for the electricity aside from water. You say, carbohydrates sir Sotero, kung lagi kayo siya, na siya lagi mahabilin nga, di siya mabanta na ng oxygen, nalagi siya excess, that means carbohydrates also is conductive to electricity. Okay? So, if you try to break everything, the biomolecules in the body, during structuring, if na-excess electrons unshared, automatically, polar na siya, mag-conduct siyang electrical signal. Wa magbin nga water na jud. Okay, you got the point? Ana. Okay, number 10, ether na siya. Ganon. Kana matubo guys, madiri nyo, mo conduct kong electricity sa akong skin. Dira-ara ba sa metal. Maglagot siya ko, so that means, a human being, na siya electricity, murag mo magnet ko sa kanang, maglagot na gidyo ko guys, hindi ka mata na kung buta kay murag mo, magkuhan ko, makuruntihan ko sa metallic sa akong bed. See? Simple like that. There's an electricity due to the metal conducts electricity. Majority of the metals will conduct electricity. Okay? Except for the, of course, the metals will not conduct electricity. Except for the metalloids. Okay, metalloids, katong mga transition elements ba sa semiconductors. There are metalloids can act also on a metal, can act also sa metal. So, na siya sa tunga-tunga. Ang mga metalloids. But still, they will not conduct electricity, but only slightly. Okay, but conductive pa rin. Right? You got the point. Ganon. So most of the metals are highly conductive to electricity. That's why, kamata na ko, ibutang, wala ko ba kuruntihan, matouch akong skin diha sa kuan. Manikamo siya ko, kumukuha na napita guys, ano naman ko na metal, gusto ko matabunan siya sa akong blanket. Charot! In actual demonstration, it's proven by theory, and in actual practice also, the electricity. Really, makuruntihan ko, pero guys, diri-ari mo, kanina, maglagot ko, gabuntag ka mata na ako ay, lagi ko yun, maglagot ko. Magnet na ba di dayon ng kuan, electricity, sa akong bagtak. Nakakaloka. Okay, ako natabunan tanan para yung magnetize ang akong skin. Diba? Sa skin lang gani mo, magnet man dayon siya, kaya may pores. Diba? Na may mga moist dito sa mga sweat balloon or whatever. Okay? Di ba mo makita ng imong mga guys good, imong mga moisture naman na diara. Murag dry kat tanaw no, pero na siya yung tubig guys. Kaya ang tubig dili man na magmin nga liquid all the time. It can be also through a moist, a vapor state, a steam, like that sa imong lawas, sa imong pores, ganon. Okay? It's not always visible ang H2O. Ay, nakakaloka. Get the point? H2O in a vapor state. What I mean. Okay? Ganon. Number 11, na natin ether. Wait, ester, ketone, aldehyde, carbonyl, amino, nitrosamine, alkyl, acetyl. How about the amine? Okay. Amine and amine is not the same. Okay. Amine, ang functional group sa amine na siya ay single bond, carbon monoxide. Yan, na yung body rin ng amine. Nakakaloka. Okay? Ang amide na siya, mura carbon monoxide, CO. And so muna ang amide kasi guys, dili siya maayo sa lawas. Okay? Because na siya carbon monoxide, band produce sa amine. Ay, nakakaloka. Amine is carcinogenic. Diba? Yung nasa carbon monoxide, nakakaloka. Amide is very, nakakaloka ang amide. Okay? At tuloy ba na siya connect sa kuan guys? Cysteine. Charot. Okay? Sa cysteine. Yan mo, dito siya sa glycine, mo-add sa glutamic acid, makaproduce ka glutathione. Wow. Okay, mana siya. Amide. Okay? So, atong example sa amide, guys, ang kuan lang, let's say, ano lang tayo pa sa akong example ang kuan, cysteine. Cysteine. Cysteine is an amino acid, but it contains amide. Okay, saan mo itong cysteine, Una-una, saan mo itong cysteine, Ganon-ganon. O, di ba? Since amino acid siya, paano na kayo? Amino acid. Kasi formula. Okay, papasok ko na guys, ha? Klaro kaya ang cysteine, amino acid ba yan siya. Yung akong i-emphasize ang amide. Okay. So, ang sa'yo formula sa amino acid. Amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acid equal protein. Meaning, if you bond a lot of amino acid, it will become a peptide. Now, if there's a lot of bonding moment, it will become polypeptide. But same, it's already a protein. So, protein are bond of a lot of amino acids arranged together. Or, protein composed of peptide bonds. And peptide bonds is simply polypeptides. Okay, so when we know peptide, automatically, coming from amino acid because it will not become a peptide if there's no amino acid. Okay, that's why if you have ulcer, that is peptic ulcer through polypeptides reaction of protein in your digestive. Ganon. So, ulcer dayon ka. So, through poor secretion of your gastric juices. Ganon sa inyong digestive. So, like pancreas, the small intestine, ganon sa esophageal. Wow. We have also esophageal ulcer, duodenum ulcer in the small intestine. We have also the intestinal ulcer, the pancreatic ulcer, and the peptic ulcer. So it depends na asa siya mo occur. Okay, look the point. As long as there's over secretion of juices. Like that na mo kuan imong tiyan. It is the juice will parang mura kang gutumon or mo haplos imong tiyan. It is the acid that do that. Dili na ba sabot na wala kay galing. Dili na ba sayop na siya guys ha sa mga atong mga ninuno atong mga mama kita ko sa imeta la oy mukha unta kay wala na tay gigaling ako. Dili na mao. Okay? May pamingon mo nga sakit ako because of the gastric juices. Ganon excreted in the pancreas. Science explanation ba because the more juices, the more it can cause hyperacidity, mo sakit din akong tiyan. Dili na galing-galing guys. Oy, okay, kaya ang kanang galing-galing sa kanang ang digestion, may kalabutan ang digestion ana sa ulcer. It's on the secreted juices siya sa pancreatic juice. Okay, gastric juices ang inungdan ana sa ulcer. Dili na yung nga wala nagigaling ang pagkaon tungod ana kay nagutom mo din na mao. Okay? So for example, take us imong breakfast. Okay, alas 7 sa buntag. Ganon. Muntik ka sa imong lunch, 12 sa hapon. Okay. In science, or in medical science, it doesn't mean you have to take naps. Even though you will search so many sources, books, it doesn't state there that you should take your snacks. That's only the culture of your country where you live, that there's a snack in between, there's a snack in the afternoon, but that is only fabricated by human being. That's not related to factual science information. Okay, why? Medical science can speak to that. Okay, we have digestion process to convert the different substances in our body. It takes maximum of 6 hours to convert the food you take in your breakfast. Okay, from 7 to 12, how many hours? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, something like that. So, gutumon ka alas 11 padulong sa alas 12. Ngano mo kaon ka alas 9? Muna akong kay gutom ka. That is not gutom. That is the accurate, proper functioning of your pancreas and your vital organs to do the job. Kanang mudago, okay, it's not really na wakay gigaling or gigutom ka. All you have to do is to take the water or the warm water because that is the proper functioning of your digestive system because it is 6 hours digestion process, 6 hours to 8 hours. Then, kung sakit imong tiyan dili man na siya gutom. That's proper functioning of your digestive system. So don't take the snacks because that is only your mentality. Okay, like that you do it since 1 year old until now because your parents also do the snacks every time in your country of origin. Something like that. But if you are hungry, in 11 to 12, that is the correct hungry. Because I told you, 6 hours ang complete digestion. Only taking the breakfast in full, okay, breakfast, because breakfast is the most important meal of, okay, not the dinner and the lunch. That's why you will become fat and obese because they keep on eating at night. At night, our vital organs also are resting, the same with us. Okay, so if you keep adding food, then that's their time for their rest. They cannot function normally. Because you are adding them another job over time. our vital function. If you eat too much at night, you are adding also a task of your liver, of your kidney, like that to perform apart from their normal functioning. So things like the same as right as we are our boss adding up too much job, sometimes it will become ineffective, right? It's the same story also with some will become stressed, you will be tired. Also, the same also our vital organs feeling. Okay? Like that. That's why you don't need to eat more at night. Okay, you got the point. Just sakto lang yun siya. Okay? Or enough lang yun siya ba? Okay, you got the point. Okay. So, kani siya nga rule, it's not on the diet person. It's in the normal na sakto yun ang ikaw ang kabuntag. So, 6 hours ang maximum digestion. But if you are taking the diet, it's another story because you are eating lighter in the morning, right? Then you have to adjust also some in between the 7 a.m. and you will take a little bit of, biscuits like that, okay, or low carbs somewhere in between because you are not eating full in your breakfast, things like that. But if assuming you eat full already in the breakfast, you don't have to eat too much in between the snacks. Snacks are not advisable. Sorry. Okay? Because the normal digestion is 6 hours to 8 hours if we are full in the breakfast. You get the point? That is only our feeling, nagigutom ta, but that is already functioning very well our organs. The best thing to do is to stretch your feet, stretch your hands, like that, and eat a little bit of warm water, like that. Ang katong ramuda ko, mawala na to siya. Okay? So, wala to, nagpasabot na gutom to siya, or galing ang inyong tiyan, wala na yung soul, muna yung mukha o na pumulong. It's not like that, okay? It's not explained in science like that. In fact, we have intermittent fasting. The doctor said maximum 16 hours talaga siya. Okay? But we don't want that because our system doesn't practice that also. So, makalitan ta, so it's not good. Okay? So, we cannot adapt that, right? I'm talking only 16 hours is the intermittent fasting that is still okay. If you will never eat. That's why in a medical examination, you don't have to take anything during the test of your, because it's still advisable for maximum of 6 hours, right? To test your blood, urine. The doctor will say, never drink milk, never drink anything, because that is not normal in our vital organs that we eat something, it will change the results. Okay, so muna siya. O kung gutom mo, alas 11, muna na siya, gutom na yun na siya, kay ni-eat man mo 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Pero kung wala mo gigutom sa morning na 9 o'clock, so that is not gutom. That is only your feeling to eat, because you want to eat. Okay? That is your culture in your country, that every 9 snacks, every 3 p.m. snacks. But actually, that is not necessary. If you want to have a good, healthy lifestyle, that is not necessary. Okay? As long as you eat food in the morning, like that, then it's okay. And lunch also, it's okay. And dinner is okay. So, ganun. Ayaw pag-eat in between, because that is abnormalities. Eating in between the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner. Sige mo kaon-kaon, abnormal ang inyong physiology inside your physiology, meaning the functioning of your vital organs. It's also creating, intermittent function, meaning on and off, balik na po, pahulay, ganun. Because our vital organs also need rest. Okay? The same with us, the host. The host of that vital organs is in our body. So, yung sige kaon-kaon na kung na-diet mo, pwede na sa kayo, kay huwag mo nag-full. Sama na, kung pwede ko makakaon-kaon in between, pero ginagmera po siya. Because I am in a diet. I'm not in the full high carbs rice every time. I cut my rice. I don't eat rice. That's why. So I will eat biscuits lighter. And somewhere also along the way, I can eat also biscuits in the 9 o'clock. Because I'm not eating full. Okay? In the lunch, I'm not eating full also in the dinner or in the morning. That's why I can manage to do that. What do you call this one? Intermittent adjusting of food intake sa mga nag-diet. Okay? Alangan man, sakit po ka, kung dito mo kang ginagmay. But you choose also the food na lighter lang po siya. Okay? Mga ganon. For example, yogurt or brown bread. For example, what do you call this one? Kanabitang mura siya mga cereals, Quaker oats. Things like that. Okay? It's okay. Kailangan siya mga fiber. It is the fiber that helps a lot. F-I-B-E-R. That's help a lot in the digestion. Good digestion. The fiber. Okay, mga siya belong to the probiotics family. Sa itong mga good bacteria. Okay, kana mga yogurt, you have to eat that also because it's very important in our biome family, in our digestive, because they will fight the antigens also, the good bacteria. We have good bacteria, okay, inside our body. That's the point. Ganon. Ito yung bacteria tanan. Ito na natin kigwa. Sahay, kigwa, bitok, like that. Because we have good bacteria inside our intestine. Okay? Ganon. Now, kung dagan na dyan kayo mga kigwa o mga bitok, nila sa namayo. What I mean is the natural leveling lang talaga siya. Hindi na siya obvious na magawas na dyan sa ilong, magawas na dyan sa lubot. So, hindi naman siya saktong imong level sa imong biome family or yung good bacteria, yung nagawas na good. O diba, that's not adequate already. You're not healthy already in that way. Dako mong tiyan. Ano ka combatry. Inom nun niya para mahawa ang mga bitok. So that is also abnormal already. Dagan na kay bacteria. Hindi naman siya bad bacteria. Good bacteria po na nubra lang po. Okay? You got the point? Diba sometimes na yung hana, mugawa sa ilong, mugawa sa lubot, mugawa sa bakbak, ang mga bitok. Diba? Okay, so that means dili ka healthy. Okay, kinanubraan ra imong mga probiotic family sa imong biome region. Ito sa imong digestive. Ganon, diba? Ano na siya mga talaga. So, saan naman na siya? Ano itong amide, no? Alam ko, amide ba siya, Sir Sotero? Yes, amide siya nga palaga pugitan. Charot. Okay. Now, sa pa man itong itibanan niya guys. Amide, no? Pita tama human. Okay guys, nakatulad po sa mga simple lang siya. Muna siya ang amide guys ha. Okay. Recap 2 guys. Let's do itong recap 2. Ano ba itong recap 2? NH2S. Sulfur na siya all sulfur. Recap 2. Ang kanya siyang amide guys. At tumili siya sa mga glutamine. Okay, sa mga asparagine. Mga ganon-ganon. Amino acid. Okay. Now, ang kanyang kuan, mercap 2, atuloy siya sa cysteine. Okay. Number 13, sulfhydryl na ta. So, R, negative SH. Alkyl, sulfur, and hydrogen. Wala siya ang sulfhydryl. Number 14. Saan pa may number 14 na to? Daga makita mo yung guys. Nakalimutan na to ang hydroxyl na common kayo, OH negative. That is hydroxyl, number 14. Diba? So, pwede rin sa kanya or hydroxyl, negative CH2 o OH. Siya. Muna siya ang functional group sa imong hydroxyl sa organic. Kani siya sa organic chemistry ni siyang OH negative. Pero sa hydroxyl, sa organic mo ni siya CH2OH. Okay, negative. Sa organic chemistry. So, nanatay 15. Kakuan. Hindi mo siya timan. Rambo-rambo lang siya, guys. Okay? Now, ato na punta sa kuan, amino acid. Number 16. Magkalisod niya atong mga functional group. Okay? Like that. So, sa functional group sa amino. Ang amino acid guys, ang protein, pareho ra gyud na siya ha. Ay mong kalibog. So, alkyl, R, bonded with carbon, hydrogen, NH2, and then COOH. Meaning carboxyl group, amino group, alkyl group, and carbonyl group. Gimex siya sa protein. Okay. Alkyl group, R, carbonyl group, CH, or alkyl, and then you have the amino group, NH2, and the carboxylic acid, COH. So, special ang protein. Upat kabok ang libang dito ang mga amino acids. Okay. Number 17. Ano na rin sa kuan? Okay. Nucleic acid. Okay. Nucleic acid, nasa ba niya mga functional groups sa Sotero? Okay. So, mabasa ito nucleotides dayon. Nucleotides. Okay? Kani siya, mo siya special kani siya sa ato mga DNA. DNA synthesis, okay, RNA synthesis, protein synthesis. Mo siya kanang pang-output na jud. Sa movie pa, mo na siya ang last part na happy ending baron, sad ending baron, just like a movie. Okay, kanang mga DNA. Dito man na siya katong mga kuan na gyud ba, mga genetic information, nya mo kuatag mga hormone para mo function ta, molihok ta. Coming sa katong mga sudat ng lawas, water, bases, sugar, anything, okay, gipasok na to sa itong bakbak, convert na to sa last stage ng itong mga chemical messengers or neurotransmitters para muliyok ta. Muna ang nucleotides sa mga genes na dapat match good siya ang atong DNA para there's no damage of the cell. Para wala na i-repair ang atong mga cells dito. So, dito na siya, hindi na siya damage ba? Okay, ana. So, muna siya ang mga DNA, RNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and ribonucleic acid. Okay, gano'n. So, kung wala na siya Sotero, so, ana na siya, guys. Okay, so, nucleotide is equal to the phosphate group, okay, group plus the ribose sugar, pentosis family of carbohydrates, ribose, coming from the ribosomes. Okay, ribosomes, the structure, extracellular structure of nucleus. Okay? Sud ni siya sa nucleus. Dito sud sa nucleus. Grabe mo kaya, nucleus dapat siya nucleus, and after that, basta sa cell biology, and you should also study cell biology so that you can understand also ribose. This is the sugar coming there. Nag-process sa ribosomes. Okay, got the point na sa atong mga DNA. Then plus, ano siya guys, mga palangga akong hitag, phosphate plus ribose plus the prescribed amino acid. Prescribed, why? Because this should be arranged properly so that this will be matching. If not, then your cells will be damaged. Magkasakit-sakit ka. Okay, that's the point sa atong DNA. Ganon. So, muna siya formula sa atong nucleic acid, muna siya ang pinaka-last sa atong genetic information. Muna siya ang nagadang bida sa tanan, ang nucleic acid or nucleotide sa DNA, RNA, mga ganon-ganon. Take note guys, ang ribose sugar, sa ribosome sugar, yan muna siya, pentosis family ha, C5H10O5. This is the sugar. Okay, meaning 5 atoms of carbon. Isa sa CH2O, general formula sa, empirical formula sa carbohydrates, mahimo siyang C5H10O5. Di lang kumuha na kayo. Kung sa'yo na kayo equals. Okay, siguro siyang ribose. Okay, yan. Natry phosphate, phosphate katong O4. Negative 2. This is the phosphate group. Then plus, na-prescribe na amino acid ka rin siya. Number 16. Yung pala na ipuno dyan rin yung number 16. Wow! So, grabe kayo siya ka-complex, guys. Ang kuan, nucleic acids, ang DNA, o ang RNA. Grabe kayo siya kuan, chemical formula. Okay? Nakakaloka. Hindi mo na siya i-follow mo na. Makaingo din taga natin kuan. C15H31. Okay? Anaon din mo N3, oxygen, okay, 13, and phosphorus 2. So, this is your DNA formula. 15 atoms of carbon, 13 atoms of hydrogen, 3 atoms of nitrogen, 13 atoms of oxygen, and 2 phosphorus. So this is our DNA formula. So kung punitahan ng formula sa DNA, so wala pasok sa banga, kaya mo naman na-memorize. Okay? Like that. So CH and OP. And then RNA. So what's the formula of RNA? Like that, mamani ka. C35H66, ganun. Grabe na gano'n na siya, nagtataas ako na. Okay? Okay, so C like that, and then H, ganon, nitrogen 6, oxygen 22, and phosphorus 2. Ganon, 35, 66 na siya guys, ha? Ganon, di ba? Nakakalimutan ko ng mga answer sa Sotero, mga, mga atoms. Okay? So, kailangan mo anak, kaya mo dyan na yung formula. Okay? So, kung makalimot ka, if you forgot, go back to the structure para you should know the correct, anak siya. Diba guys? Anak na din siya mga palangga kung itag, ha? Okay. Any questions so far? Charots. Okay? Karon sige mo mailan guys, okay, mo times 2 na ka pero 15 times 2, so mga 30 plus sa imong RNA. 31 times 2, mga 60 plus na 66. Nitrogen 3 times 2, 6 na siya. Oxygen 13 times 2. Mga ano na siya, mga 20 plus, no? Nasa kay 22. Okay, oxygen, mga gyapon ang phosphorus. Ang phosphorus is always constant ha sa atong nucleic acid genetic information. Phosphorus. Ang phosphorus, guys, from the start until the last, nakagid siya permi. Diba? Ang phosphorus coming from the sun. Phosphorus coming from the, oxidative phosphorylation in the photosynthesis. Okay? Moabot kay naman siya sa adenosine triphosphate 4, kay phosphate tulong kabok dito. Okay? Moabot pa gyud siya sa katapusang stage. Mao na siya ang DNA. Napakay phosphorus 2 atoms of phosphorus. 2 atoms of so kung kay siya kanang kay siya bida kung kay siya no, phosphorus aside from carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. So in short, guys, we can say the 5 actors of human being are carbon atoms, hydrogen atoms, nitrogen atoms, oxygen atoms, and phosphorus. So magiging nataan ng CH and OP. Okay, mo nasa itong mga genes ng dagayday, kani siya yung mga elements. Okay? So, kung pagtao rin mo sa phosphorus, mamatay jud ka. Okay, ang naman sa itong DNA, di mata makalihok kung may phosphorus. Nanginan siya 2 atoms. Di ba? O, oxygen, kailangan sa no. O, sa nitrogen. So, mapito na yung amine, sabit pa niya sa mga nitrogen ko, sa mga nitrites, sa mga preservatives. Magagawa na dyan, flip na nitrogen, no? Isip pala kansi, guys. Okay? Buhat ang nasa 79% by volume sa atmosphere, naghatag sa Ginoo. Di ba? 79%. Yung oxygen acid, isip ko, pero the most abundant element by in the planet Earth, ang oxygen, the most reactive. Oh, 21% po naghatag sa Ginoo. Hindi siya mahawa ko, sige, nasa sa mga rapid oxidation, kinalaman mo kayo sa pang-inhalation, ganun, rubber, chuchu. Okay, no, carbon, bida po kayo siya. Okay, kinamit siya kayo ng carbon. Okay, now, akong question guys, if sunugon ta, na kung black ba ta, this is my question. Did you observe a fire and somebody will be burned? Does our body will become black or not? But common sense only, even though you will not see in actual. Because I don't see also people died in actual, caught in the burning process. I think it will turn black by the bone. Okay, because the bone are composed of mga carbon, nitrogen, so I think it will become black. The bones, the bone. It's not the muscles, the bone. Okay? I think so lang. Diba? Correct me if I'm wrong, eh? Nakakalok. Okay, diba? So, marag ito punta. No? Okay. Yes, because we are completely made of CH and OP. Yung mga papel-papel na, kung ano, combustible materials, kaya mga materials na sunugo na nyo, maito na siya, may mga carbon, di ba? So this is siguro sa person, kaya sa carbon. Di ba? O, di ba? Di ba? 35 atoms, kadaghan anak. O, black sa siguro tao eh. Nasunog, o di ba? That's only, because I don't see somebody died caught in a burn na kung sa'y color niya, pag itong ba or dili, okay? Kaya mo man na siya characteristic sa carbon, presence of carbon, always black particles after burning. Okay, you get the point. Anak siya. Any questions so far mga palaga? Kung hita na have to end this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. You can share and like this video to anybody else. Click the notification bell for some news updates on the Channel Voice. You can subscribe to my channel if you want also, and I'm very happy to that. Okay, bye-bye. God bless everybody. See you later.